Hi there, this is Scott from Sumo Outdoor, and this is the install guide for the RTF PRO subcladding. Okay, the tools you'll need is an angle grinder, some quick grips, an impact driver or a combi drill. And you also need sawhorses or a workmate or a good surface for cutting on. You also need some protective equipment, safety goggles, dust mask are a must. Okay, step one, scribe the cutouts. So you're going to see our installer here is running a pencil along the subcladding board sheet. So he has this pushed flush against the Sumo RTF frame, and he's just following along the line of the framework, which has been pre-designed, all the cutouts included. Refer to your plan and just make sure what you're doing. But as you can see here, it's a very simple process. Having it flush against the frame once it's levelled means you allow for any fall on the patio. We recommend you work from a patio that has no fall, but in most cases there's always a slight fall, so this allows for that. And you can see the installer is doing that from the inside of the frame. It's just a bit easier this way, just running the pencil around any door cutouts, etc. So step two is cutting the subcladding. Okay, it's a very simple process. You're just going to cut along the pencil lines you've made that you've scribed out on the board. As you can see, our installer is using an angle grinder and just going very carefully just along the lines that you scribed out, taking his time, taking care. And it's a very simple process. It's just take your time, safety first, and just make sure that you're going steadily along the lines that you've made. If you do find that you've gone astray slightly, or something's chipped off or something like that, little imperfections, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. It's very easy material to cut with, so if you need to tidy anything up, it can be easily done. If you've over-egged it and kind of just gone over it a bit too far, don't panic. This is a subcladding layer, and in most cases these cuts will not be seen from the outside, so there's not going to be a massive problem there. So as I say, just take your time, just follow the lines around. The installer here is just cutting along below the grill cutout, and now he's doing the double door cutout. And you can see he's just following that essentially big rectangle until he cuts the hole out. Just give it a quick tap and it just falls through. So the next step is fixing that subcladding board into position that you've just cut. So we're going to offer it up against the frame. The installer here is using a quick grip just to hold everything nice and flush against the frame and in position while he fixes the screws in. So using our recommended fixings, the installer is just zipping them into the framework. They're countersink head screws, so you need to make sure that the screws go flush to the board so they don't interfere with any tiling, painting or cladding that you're going to do, or any filling. And they bite into the metal, and they're quite strong. They pull quite hard once they get a bite into the metal, so you need to be careful that you don't let them fall all the way through the board into the metal itself. You want them just to stop flush, pinning the board to the framework. You don't want any heads sticking out. You want it all nice and flush. Just beware. Look out for any little details like screw fixings in the frame that the installer's doing here. So he's just adjusting where he's putting in the screws to make sure he avoids those other fixings that are part of the RTF PRO framework. Real simple, easy process. Again, just take your time, zip in some screws sort of every 8 inches to a foot, and into any kind of main junctions where you've got cutouts and openings. Just keeping the board all nice and pinned, flush back to the framework, so you've got a nice smooth surface to finish to. As you can see here, the installer's just following that round. And some boards you'll have a flat side and a rough side. The rough side's for tiling and rendering, and the flat side is if you want to do painting to it. As you can see here, if you have a little problem and you go wrong, don't worry, just take the screw out and pop another one in next to it. It's not the end of the world. And as you can see here now, that's completed that section. It will just work his way around the whole framework, and that's ready to finish. RTF.